Start my stream. Hello, everybody. Today we're playing Minecraft, and I think it's nighttime. Oh, yeah, it is. We're gonna sleep. Yay, it's Minecraft time. What's up, Kenj? god, it feels so good to be streaming again. It feels so good to be streaming again. I feel like myself again, you know, after streaming. I have a new skin cuz we're going to be switching stuff up. We're going from snowy sort of Candyland vibes, and we're going to be switching to we're gonna be switching to cave, like lush cave kind of Goblin core vibes. Which means I'm gonna need a new name, and I'm gonna need to take all of this stuff. Oh, I don't have. Do I have silk? I don't know if I have silk touch. I don't have silk touch. That's a problem. We're gonna need to take all this stuff down, but I don't have silk touch on my pickaxe. Can you, Kenj? That would be awesome. Cause that way I could take down all my stained glass and like keep it, cause I worked very hard for my stained glass. What is up, A&Emo Rete? Ow! Motherfucker. Hey. Bitch. Get out of here. How rude. I'm over here working hard. Since we'll be neighbors. Oh, that would be so cool. You have a villager trading? I'm so bad at Minecraft. I'm so bad at Minecraft. I just vibe. I like to build, and that's it. I mean, like, I like mining. I like a lot of the aspects of the game, but for the most part, it's just building for me. That's I'm at work, so you have to do this yourself. So that's fine. That's fine. I'm gonna work on this stuff first, cause like, let's see. Do I have any emeralds? I might not have emeralds. I can look. I did a lot of work on this, but it's just like not. It's just not inspiring me anymore. It was fun, but then even at the beginning, I didn't really know where to take it from where it is, and I was trying not to make it Christmassy, but still like candy, and it just was a lot. Is my music off? Why is it so quiet here? Oh, there we go. I don't know why my music was so low. Okay. Gotta get all of this stuff. I gotta get... Do I have any more diamonds? Because my stuff is, like, about to break. I need mending, too. Maybe I'll go visit Ken and see... Let's see how many, like, emeralds and stuff that I have. And probably paper? I don't have any organization, so it's just gonna be a lot of opening chests for a minute here. You got a mending villager too? Sick. Let's see here. Let's see what I have. Oh, Luke's in the realm. Let's go. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Say hi. Ooh, I have projectile protection and mending. I think, wait, is this better than my, what do I currently have? Protection 3. Thorns for protection. Unbreaking. Hello! I should probably combine these. I don't have a lot of levels. That's fine. Probably combine those, though. Do I have some lapis. Lapis is useful. Take some lapis with me on my journey. What's up? Jeez. Oh, there's some paper. I have so many farms that will help me. Yatta! That's good. I need like a bed. I don't want to take my home bed. I don't know why. I just don't want to. I feel like if you break your bed, it should take you to your last bed, but it doesn't. It's fine. I'll take my bed. We're gonna go through the nether. Do you see how gray it is here? I have vibrant visuals on, and this is one of the things that like made me want to change where I am. Look how like it's just a lot of nothing. It's just a lot of nothing. Alright, let's go steal all of Kenja's resources. I'm just kidding, I would never. I want to steal. He's a talking horse. What's this? It's a chest full of stuff. Okay. You are Weirdwood? Threadless station. I think so. Yeah, you're Weirdwood. I'm gonna go this way. Is there a minecart? Okay. Off we go to Weirdwood. I gotta come up with a good name for my new kingdom. It's like underground. Absolutely not. No. You hear the loud ass car going by. To try it, did you? Got spawn. This rail system? Mwah. Beautiful. Oh, there's glass here. I was like, why can't I go anywhere? Whee. Oh, that's why there's glass there. Hello. I like that you can, like, see out into the nether. That's kind of neat. This railway was done by Black Boot, a while ago. Punch, punch, punch. It's very good. And, like, I like that the signs tell you how many stops there are to go. That's cool. That's very cool. Weirdwood, here we are. Okay, I'm gonna leave this here, so I don't accidentally lose it. And we'll head on through. I'm in your basement. Whoop. nice. Oh, it's like a church. That's cute. Wait, this is so cute. Kenj, this is amazing. The general store, okay. I'm gonna look around first. This is so cool. Shoe Shine Emporium. There's an armadillo! You guys look! Oh my god! I've never seen one before. Look how cute he is. He's so cute. Cute little guy. Oh. I mean, I feel like a lot of things are a work in progress. It's nighttime. The baddies are coming. I'm gonna go to sleep. No! There's monsters nearby. I don't want there to be monsters nearby. Can I sleep on the roof? Are there monsters nearby now? No! Why are there still monsters nearby? Can I sleep? Oh, that's half slabs. I can't sleep up there. Can I sleep here? I can sleep here! Yatta! One of my friends started saying yatta, and my echolalia stole it. So now I say it too. And so when we're together and anything good happens, it's just like yatta, yatta, yatta. I think monsters have an 8-block radius. Yeah. And it goes up too, which is stupid. I guess skeletons can hit you up. But they don't. They like stop seeing you, but it's still like you can't sleep. Sleeping? Sleep is for the weak. Sleep is for the weak. Okay. It's daytime now. Luke left so I could sleep. Thank you. This is so cute. Absolutely so cute. There's a creeper. I'm not gonna fight the creeper. I'm gonna run wide away from the creeper so that I don't accidentally blow up anything, because that would suck. Chest. I have 3 string in my ender chest. Okay. That's so cute. Is there a secret basement? Ah, there it is. Secret basement. Nice. Alright, let's see here. The whole platform. Wow. This is cool. Secret basement! Where's the... How do I get up here? There we go. Hello, kitty. Okay, I am looking for a librarian. There they are. Okay, what do you have? Smite, fire protection, impaling. 24 paper for 1 emerald. 18 paper for an emerald. Okay, okay. Oh, and this guy has silk touch. Okay, let me. I need a crafting table for. Need a crafting table for paper. Like 7 librarians. There's gotta be a crafting table around here. There it is. Found it. Okay. I can't get like a ton of emeralds, but we'll see. if you need emeralds, take some iron. Oh, thank you. Is it down here? Dude, iron farms are like crazy. Wow. My dad built an iron farm. Like, when the first time I saw him build an iron farm, I was like, thank you. I'll take some. Okay. So that I can get, let's see. Yeah, iron farms are ridiculous. Okay. Four for an emerald. 4 for an emerald. 4 for an emerald. 4 for an emerald. Okay. Boink. Oh, you can do more? You can do more? Okay. I get all the emerald. 4 iron's a good trade. Alright. I got plenty of emeralds now. Let's see here. This is the one with smite. You have silk touch. No summoning? No. Just silk touch. Okay. Yeah. So, oh, books. Duh. Okay. I'll go back yet. I have some leather I can have to go all the way back. Silly me. It's okay. I don't have any food either, like a dumbass. It's cool. it's cool. Let me find my way out of here, and then I'll come back. There are books in a barrel. I don't want to take your books. You're so nice. I'm so bad at Minecraft. Okay, I don't wanna like. There's some books here. Okay. I need a silk touch and I need 2 mending. So I'll just take 3. Wait, do you have mending? Yeah, you have mending and you have looting. That's fine. Oh, making farms are good. Thank you, Kedge. Okay. We get a silk touch. And do you have mending? Yeah, you have mending. And 2 mending. Okay, great. Cool. This is what I needed. And then I go here. And I do this. Silk touch. And I'm gonna name my silk touch pickaxe. I'm gonna name it Satin. 'Cause that's funny to me. Okay, and then you get mending. And you also get mending. Sweet. Nice. I'm gonna leave you this paper that I made. For you. So you can make more books. Okay. Okay, let's go. I named mine Old Silky. That's so good. Where's the... How do I get out? Oh god, no, I'm trapped in here. This was Kenja's plan all along, to trap me here. For some reason. Haha, plan's foiled. Alright. Okay. Now we go back through the church to hell. Oh my god, hell is in the basement of the church. That's so funny. I just realized. Hell is in the basement of the church. excellent. That's good. That's real good. Okay. Did we ever make, and by we I mean other people, not me. Yeah, I got it. Did we ever make an XP farm anywhere? I feel like someone had an XP farm and now I can't remember who. Someone had an XP farm. Was it Black? I don't think it was. There was ever an Enderman farm. You have a Skelly farm? Alright, I'll go use your Skelly farm. Kenj has everything you could ever want. Kenj is better at Minecraft than me. I'm here for aesthetics. Thank you. Thank you. Alright, let's go beat up some mobs. Is it in the sheriff's? Is it in the sheriff? I still don't have any food. I'm gonna starve. It's fine. Take a right out of the church. Ah, okay. I'm gonna starve. That's gonna be very silly. That's gonna be very silly when I starve and lose all of my XP. I'm gonna go back. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my house and get some food, and then we'll come back and use the XP farm. There's a cave off the lake. Okay, cool. Yeah, but I can't be walking. Get food in my trading hall. No, I have food, I think. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, that's smarter. That's smarter. It's been a while since I've played Minecraft. I just hope Nomi doesn't hop on right now, cause Nomi. Thank you, Kenj. Nomi will come into my stream and be like, "Why the fuck why don't you have food on you, idiot child?" It's fine. Is my trading hall forbidden? No. I just feel bad for being stupid. Oh, what happened? Oh, they're sleeping. I was like, where did they go? I broke it somehow. That's fine, I'll just sleep here. I thought I broke it. I don't know how. I wouldn't put it past me. Somehow just break everything. This is a great Minecraft stream. Good gameplay of me. I'm just showing off the builds of the cool people who I will. Suspicious dude. Let's see what else is around here. Got some fish. dash. There's a dash. Includes a fish. Alright. Let's get this bread. Let's get this bread. Okay. Now I shall not starve. I shall no longer be stupid. Alright, cool. I mean silly. I'm trying not to call myself stupid. Silly. Because my mom gets upset when I call myself stupid, so I need to stop doing that. Okay. Alright, let's go beat up some guys. Go right from the church. Which is this way. There's a cave off of the lake. Okay, so that's the lake, I presume. It's so pretty. Down to the left. Okay. Is it that hole over there? Yeah. Let's go. I don't know why I don't have any boots or helmet. I don't know. Nope. Head down to the lake. Oh, head down to the lake. Okay. That cave is danger. Uh-oh. I'm in danger. Oh, is it that one? That one? The water's so pretty with vibrant visuals on. I love shaders in Java. Okay, there's that hole and there's that hole. Nope. It's so hard to give directions when you're delayed. This one. Okay, this one. Because of the chat delay. All right. Cool. I'm just gonna follow the path. No, it's cool. It's not your fault. There's chat delay. It's my internet's fault. There'll be stairs on your right. Haha, I found it. I did it. I did it. Ta-da! This is also the way to the lush cave. Oh, cool! Nice. I'm gonna set my spawn here just in case. Take the water elevator down. Did that. Oh, you got like a sugarcane farm down here? Hot garbage. Oh, I hear them. I hear them skellies. Did I miss it? Did I miss where you fight the skellies somehow? Ah, okay, I did. Yeah. Okay, I gotta put stuff in my offhand. Oh, that's right! Bedrock is stupid. I can't put stuff in my offhand. Okay, it's fine. I can kill skeletons with a pickaxe. That's fine. Cool. Thank you. Thank you, Kenj. All right. While we sit here with the skeletons, I did my first online session of D&D yesterday, and with me DMing. It was pretty good, actually. It went really well. There was very minimal like talking over each other, which is what I was worried about, because previously we had played online, and there was a lot of talking over each other, so I was a little nervous with this game, just like in case something happened or like it was too much. But it went really well. I used this this program called Alchemy, which uses a lot of like Chepeku maps. And if you don't know about Chepeku, they're awesome. They make animated D&D maps and like scenes. Very cool. One day I'm gonna make a physical DM screen that has like a monitor in it so that I can show people different things. And when I do that, I'm gonna use Alchemy, I think, to do that. I need a laptop. Both of my computers are. I need a laptop specifically for D&D. Both of my computers are desktops, which is great. I love them. However, can't take it downstairs to do D&D stuff. So that's a bit of a problem. But it's fine. Ooh, I want to make pixel assets for D&D to give the game a retro vibe. I would play the shit out of pixel D&D. That sounds so fun. But like when we're gonna stream D&D after our Baldur's Gate campaign. And so when that happens, I'm gonna use Alchemy and probably Chepeku maps and stuff. So I'm just gonna like slowly build up my collection each month with my allowance until I have all of them. Because otherwise it's like a subscription service. But so they're like $5 each, and they're hand painted and they're really nice and like animated. TTRPG Final Fantasy, that's sick. But like I just don't have the energy to make animated maps myself. That's just too much. So I'm probably gonna use Chepeku maps. And then maybe one day when we're a famous D&D channel, they'll sponsor me. That's the dream, right? I want to run a Final Fantasy pixel game so bad. That sounds like so much work and also so much fun. I've never played Final Fantasy, actually. I don't know. I've never. Cause I get this. The reason I've never played Final Fantasy is not because I haven't been interested. It's that I get weird about game series where I feel like if I haven't played all of the other ones, I can't play this one. So it's like I need to get all of the stuff. I do it with like D&D podcasts too. Which is why I'm so far behind on, which is why I've never finished a season of Critical Role, and I'm so far behind on Legends of Evangelist, because I waited so long to start watching their Witchlight campaign. They're on episode, 65 now, and I'm like, ugh. I start to get that, FOMO, and then I get overwhelmed and I just stop. I also, and this is very funny, as someone who plays D&D, I cringe when D&D players, I'm watching D&D players be stupid. If they're doing something that I feel like I would be embarrassed if I did, I want to run Witchlight. I want to run Witchlight so bad. But I'm currently doing a homebrew world. So I'm running my own homebrew world. It's called Aether Reach, and they're currently in a place called Aurora. And one of my players, I was like, oh yeah, Aurora, because I've called it that a bajillion times. At this point, I've called it Aurora so many times that everyone knows what I'm talking about. And they're like, what? And I was like, Aurora, that's the campaign that we're playing. And they go, oh. But we haven't seen any, colorful lights in the sky. And I'm like, no, that's just what it's called. That's what the continent is called. That's what the continent is called. And they just were not understanding. And it took a week for us to drill it into their head that was just what the continent was called, and it had nothing to do with Aurora Borealis. That was fun times. That was fun times of just us being like, no, it's not. It's because I call it that because it's based off of, yeah, like Faerun. It's just the place. There are no Viking fairies. I don't want to say no Viking fairies because that sounds like an awesome character concept. I would allow Viking fairies in my campaign. That sounds sick. I like Viking fairies. Sounds rad. Sounds very rad. I definitely needed mending. Look at how thirsty. Look at how thirsty my pickaxe is. He's real thirsty. And I gotta do my axe too. Fun stream activities. I didn't realize my my stuff was so dead, or I would have done this sooner. You married a Viking fairy? Nice. Excellent. But yeah, so my Aurora is called such because I came up with it with the different elements in mind. So each of the kingdoms is a different element. You have Luxian, which is light, Nocturna, which is dark, and so on and so forth. Kershurun is fire, Leoweir is earth. What am I missing? Aquis is water, and Yukino is air, or snow. It's air, but it kind of ended up being a little bit snow. That's fine. Because they're up in the mountains. They're up on a really tall mountain. But it's air. But yeah, so they ended up, one of my players, Alex, is playing Miost. And Miost is an ASMR paladin, from Kersharun, whose god is not actually a god. So she's Oath of the Crown. Yeah, everything changed. Funny you should say that. Yes. Actually, the Fire Nation is attacking, which was not on purpose. The reason the Fire Nation is attacking is because Alex gave me a perfect cult when they wrote their character backstory. So Alex's character, Miost, is from, Kersharun, the Fire Nation. And they basically wrote me this, like, religious cult, for a goddess who is not a goddess. So the fire goddess is Mehri, and, Kersharun worships Timara, who is not a goddess. She was a warrior in this, like, epic war for these artifacts, thousands of years ago. And the people of Kersharun were like, you know what? This is our new goddess. And they made a cult around her for power. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but it's not important. The result is that nowadays, there is this sort of council of elders who run the church, and they recruit people into their cults to be, like, paladins. And Miost has just discovered that they're the ones currently stealing artifacts to combine them into a godly super weapon. And so Miost broke her oath by arresting one of her fellow guys. And the way I did this, I think I could have stretched it out more and made it more epic, but I was really flustered by the start of the session due to, like, a whole bunch of other stuff. But anyways, so she breaks her oath, and then she gets a dream from Timara and Mehri, who is, like, sort of back behind her, like, backing Timara. And Timara basically says, I'm proud of you. And then, Miost became a warlock. A celestial warlock. And so instead of, just a whole new character sheet, instead of being a paladin, is now a warlock. We discussed it. We were like, you could do Oathbreaker, you could, like, change your oath. And then I was like, what if you were a warlock? Because paladins are supposed to, they're supposed to, they're like almost like clerics, where it's like they're sort of oftentimes give their oath to a god. And I was like, well, what if you're not a paladin anymore? So Miost is now a warlock with a proficiency in heavy armor. So Miost got to like keep all of the proficiencies and stuff that she had before, because it wouldn't make sense to change them. And she had high charisma before anyways. So yeah, it's very, very cool times. Miost went from being a paladin to a warlock, and is now, like, I had this like wizard guy, and he was like, that looks like warlock shit. And Meowst went, I'm a witch, a sinner. It was very funny, very good. And then we introduced Penny and Acacia's characters also during that session, which was very fun. The current party, which was Meowst and Kiki's character, Wisteria, went to Leoweir to continue. Yeah, Hexblade. Hexblade's fun. Yeah, Meowst is now Celestial Warlock, Pact of the Blade, which is very cool. And yeah, so they head to Leoweir, to the Earth Kingdom, which is basically just like a giant thick forest. And they this is where I started to get tired in the session, so I'm like trying to recall what happened. I took pretty thorough notes, so like I'll be able to go back and be like, oh yes, this is what happened. But currently my brain is just like, what happened? I don't know. I don't know what happened. They went into the forest without a guide, which was against the advice of the little gnome, but they also didn't have any guides, and they really needed to go warn the ruler of Leoweir that like some shit is going down. So I gave them a bunch of excuses as to why there were no guides, and I realized after a while that I could have given Penny's character a chance to like show up and guide them, but I kind of wanted them to get lost a little bit. But then I didn't do that. So they kind of got lost, but it was supposed to be better than it was. But at that point, it was nearly 9 o'clock. We started an hour late, and I was so tired. So I kind of had them get lost, and then I kind of didn't. And they ended up in a place called Mircall Hollow, which is like artisan dwarf town, but not. It might be dwarf. There might be some dwarves, but it's like foresty, like dwarven vibes, but with elven flavor. So there's like a guy who grows weapons, which is pretty cool. And then there's, in the center of town, there's this like giant loom that weaves, prophetic tapestries. And it's very cool. I spent 4 hours, on Monday after my stream. I spent 4 hours. Oh, I can just hit with the axe. I can do that. That's good. Yeah, I spent like 4 hours writing. And then one of my players insisted on being a pirate, even though there's like not really any water around. Like there is, but it's not like a pirate campaign. So I was just like, oh, are you sure you want to like be a pirate? Like that's sorry. I should be a software pirate instead. Yar. If you can't Own it. It's not stealing. Casting spells without a patron. Like a cleric who, or a warlock who doesn't have a patron. They're just like stealing spells. That's so funny. That's so funny. I wonder how you would build that, like, as a character. But yeah, it was a good session. Sail the 7C++. Sail the 7 seas. Oh. That's good. That's I hate to admit it. That's good. Sail the 7C++. Because there's multiple of them. Get out of here. That's terrible. Come on, Skellies. There's your Skelly. But yeah, so I gotta plan more D&D stuff. I think I'm mostly planned for the next couple sessions. It's terribly funny. It's terrible, all right. I think I have enough stuff just in like locations and stuff that I'm pretty much good for D&D prep for I think a few sessions maybe. And then I have to start planning Yukino as well. Which means I need to buy more Chippeku scenes. That's fine. I'm trying to decide if I want to set my stream game in... It'll probably be an Aether Reach, but I'm trying to decide if I want to run Aurora for the stream game and just see what happens. Because when I started Aurora, I was a really bad DM, but also part of me doesn't want to tell the same story twice, even though, like, the people watching the stream wouldn't have seen it, so, I don't know. And the people in the stream wouldn't have seen it, like, it's completely different groups. I don't know, I feel like I don't want to tell the same story twice, but I'll probably set it in Aether Reach. Which would be interesting if my home game and my stream game ended up influencing each other in some way. That might be cool, actually. To just like let them sort of live on their own and like interact with each other in a way. Might be kind of cool. Some things to think about. I have a lot of time before I need to like be doing stuff for the stream game. Like, we have a fair few amount of like Baldur's Gate sessions left, and especially because like the Thursday streams are gonna have to be something else for a while, while people who are sick in my house become less sick, and are up to streaming again. Like, that's why I'm playing Minecraft today, is because, like, I don't know, cause like Penny got it, and Nathan got it, and Moxie probably has it. And Acacia's probably gonna get it as well. We're just really hoping my grandma doesn't get it. Because it would really suck if she got it. So we're trying to be very careful around her, but I don't know. But I'm back up and going. I'm gonna test today and tomorrow, and if it's negative, I get to go places again. I get to do things. I get to go places, do things. I love go places, do things. And I get to see my dad again. I'm so excited to see my dad. I miss him. That's right. My fatherless behavior is because of my dad. And my mom is feeling much better as well. So, I have a little bit of sniffles still. But it's on its last legs. Oh, good. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I legitimately don't know how it got downstairs. Basically, as soon as my mom and I knew we were sick, we stayed up here. And I think, like, I went downstairs masked, like, once. I don't know. And I don't know how Penny got it either. Because, like, I haven't interacted with Penny at all since Mom got home. It's definitely a different beast than it was 5 years ago, but yeah, it still sucks. Absolutely. It's like a pretty, it's like a shitty cold for me. And I think this was the first time I've had it. But it basically felt like the cold my dad gave me a little while ago, and I'm pretty sure that was a cold because I tested and I was negative. But yeah. I mean, it's possible that I had it at that point then, but both times it was basically just a shitty cold, and both times it went away in about a week. So, yeah. So, yeah. I have a little bit of sniffles, a little bit of congestion still, but for the most part, it's gone. Which is good, because I had some kind of scary heart symptoms when my fever got really high, but it's fine. Nothing bad happened. Just my watch kept telling me, like, hey, your heart rate has been 120 for like 10 minutes and you're sitting. What the fuck is happening? And I would look down, like, my watch would buzz, and I would look down and I'd be like, well, that's happening. It's pretty loopy when it hit me in 2023. I was down for about a week, but then I spent that time watching shitty movies on Tubi. Nice. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Legends of Evantris and their Witchlight campaign. Very fun. It is, however, they have not left the carnival, and apparently they don't leave the carnival until like episode 19 or 20. So, because it's just bit after bit after bit. It's bit fest. The Wonder Beyond the Witchlight is bit fest. I think that's what they're calling it. But yeah, Legends of Evantris Witchlight campaign, Bitfest. It's everybody trying to one-up each other on bits. Probably should have gotten one more mending book for my sword, but that's fine. It's cool. It has unbreaking on it. I can get more mending later. When I have a bit more yeah, I did not spend that many sessions in Carnival itself. And here's the thing, they edit their VODs. Their VODs are edited. And they're still like 3 hours long. And it took like, it's taking them forever to get out of the carnival. To be fair, it would have taken them a little bit less time to get out of the carnival because one of their players went on vacation for a couple weeks. So a few of those episodes are filler. But if you take away, like, it was like only 3 or 4 sessions, that's still like 15 episodes to get in out of the carnival. So at some point it's a little bit of a slog, but it's funny enough that I feel like it's okay. Like, they have some pretty good bits. One of their characters keeps killing clowns accidentally. Yeah. So. Oh, hang on. I can sleep in just 1 second. I can sleep. I can't sleep next to the skellies. I'm gonna give you this. Go sleep in his bed. Okay. There's a hot garbage. I'm gonna put stuff in the hot garbage. All of these, like, half-dead, mostly dead bows can go in there. This one has some enchantments on it though, so here, I'll take these, like, dead bows out of here too. All of these dead bows can get gotten. Yeah, the Feywild's the bulk of the campaign. But apparently just clean this out for you a little bit. All these, like, basically dead, unenchanted bows. I'll leave the enchanted ones, because those are fine. But yeah, all of these ones that are, like, basically dead. Alright. Yeah! I'm gonna be a good neighbor. Like State Farm. This is stupid. So I'm gonna name my kingdom. My kingdom's gonna be the Kingdom of State Farm. If we're gonna make bone blocks, use the sugarcane farm. Cool. It's nice someone has a sugarcane farm. I guess I'll have, like, glowberries as my, like, export. And I need to make... We still need to make that little market in, at spawn. The bone meal is why I have the sugarcane farm. Yeah. That's pretty handy. Alright. We're almost there, and then once that gets to green, I'll be comfortable with make some bone blocks. How do I make bone blocks? Huh. Oh, that would be fun. I don't know how to make bone blocks. Apparently, I don't know how. Really want to make a shulker farm? Ooh, shulker would be a great export. I would buy shulkers. I'm gonna have to move everything by hand. I gotta figure out where it is I'm moving to as well. So I gotta find that lush cave. 9 bone meal to make. Oh, it's bone meal. Okay, I can do that. Make some bone blocks with these ones that I have collected. There we go. Some bone blocks for you. There we go. Alright, that's good enough. That's good enough for now. Can have these arrows. And then, okay. Alright. So you said the lush cave was around here as well, right? Is it down more or is it back up? Oh, you gave me the coordinates, right? Let me take a look at those. Is anyone making potions at the minute, or is that a free market for me? I might do them if nobody else wants to. I don't think anyone is doing that. But I can't remember right now. I think this cave should be far enough away, hopefully. Hopefully this cave will be far enough away that, like, I can add a portal. Ooh, that's cool. And it won't mess with Kenja's portal. But I don't know. At the end, this is the lush cave area. Cool. Oh, this is pretty! Looks like there was an explosion here. Okay, I like this. And it goes further down too. Okay, cool. So if I light that area up, if I light that area up, made a stairwell down. Ah. Okay. There we go. But I think I want to open up that entrance, that like, yeah. Yeah, this is nicely sized too. So if I get this whole area lit up, that'll be good. Let's see, where do I want to put where do I want to put a portal? Yeah, get some natural light in there as well. I'm gonna extend this staircase a little bit. Yeah, that's good. Just so I can get back down here safely. I think probably the portal, the stepping on the moss sound keeps making me think there's a creeper and it's freaking me out. But yeah, I definitely want to open up this area here and get like the natural light into the cave a bit more. And I'll have to think about, because there's no way that I'm gonna get all of my stuff through here without a portal. So let me think about how I want to do this. All of this clay out of here. And all of this gravel. Clay is really useful for building too, so that's cool. I'm sure most of this will disappear. That's fine. I feel like I want to use a lot of wood. Help Jack move. Yeah, more reason for a shulker farm. Kenjamin's moving service. Yeah, clay is easy to make as well. So I'm not too worried about losing clay or gravel because there's a ton of it just around. And it's also like fairly easy to make if you ever do need it for some reason, like concrete. I think that's the only good use for gravel is concrete and getting flint by digging. So yeah, I definitely want some natural light coming through this like skylight here. And I want to make it look natural as well, but like open it up as well. Natural but open. And try not to die. That's really the main thing is try not to die. I don't know why I was like yeah, cave goblins, that's fun. And without realizing that like I'm literally the #1 person to die by falling. So I just have to be careful. Uh-oh. I just saw all of those skeletons up there. I saw all those skeletons. I said, nope. Can I have my bed, please? No. There we go. Yeah, lots of railed paths. Lots of... Need to light up that mountain. Yeah, we do. Let's see. I want... This is gonna make sense to exactly one person who is possibly here in chat. There is this character in Penny's campaign, and his name is Packrat. I've posted a couple pictures of him, but like for the most part, he has stayed in our campaign. And I want Packrat vibes in this area. And I don't know how else to describe it. But Packrat vibes for sure. Okay. Let's see here. Can I get this? want it like as open as it can be here without doing too much like modifying like up there. Because I want it to feel pretty natural still. Yeah. But having this sort of like skylight is gonna be very cool. There's the staircase. Is there a zombie down there? Yeah, I think there is. Alright. This looks pretty good. Actually, I think pretty much what I wanted. Get this sort of like ceiling where the stairs are. Dig this out. Can't get that. Yeah. Okay. That's good. Sort of round off the corners of stuff. Kind of open it up a little bit. Well, that cave connects to a ravine that loops back to my trading hall as well. Oh, neat. Oh, hello. Thank you. Thank you for your bones. It's just like a weird little area. I'm gonna fill this in. Yeah, this is so pretty right here. It's another little weird area. So the stairs are here. So let me... up here. Just so long as I can sort of get up. Maybe the... I definitely want the portal to be down. Torches on me. Can I break coal ore? No, I can't break coal ore at a crafting table. And I only have one pickaxe. I'm so dumb. No, it's fine. It's a good place for now. For like temporary. Oh no, I'm so sorry. So yeah, this is gonna be really pretty. Oh no, I am Nathan. I am not Nathan. Oh no. I didn't bring any torches with me. Like a silly. And now my only pickaxe has silk touch on it. Oh, there we go. Hi, Moxie. I'm sorry you feel like death. Nathan has become death. COVID test was negative last night. What a joke. What a joke, girl. I am cough. Yeah. Yeah, so definitely looks like there's some spooky guys down here. And I need some torches. So, where's my stairs? Yeah, I'm gonna build. I'm gonna start building in here. Kenj has very very generously given me this cave to this very beautiful cave to build my new kingdom out of. Your phone broke last night? No! So yeah, I need to figure out where my portal is going. But I can't do that until the place is lit up. So that's my next mission, is to light this up. Unfortunately, I did kind of a dumb. And my only pickaxe is now Silk Touch. I just thought, oh, I need Silk Touch, and then I forgot that if you have Silk Touch, you can't mine coal. We may have portal problems if it's too close to Kenj. Yeah, I don't think it's close enough to be a problem, but it might. If it is a problem, then I will just use Kenja's portal, I think. But if it's far enough away, then it should be fine. We'll figure it out. But I love where Kenja's portal is, so I don't wanna mess with that. It's gotta be in the basement of the church. It has to. There's no changing. There's no changing that. Okay, there's more iron here. Okay. Give me that. Okay. Yoink. Okay. I know a guy. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I can make an iron one for now. I'll have a crafting table. Oh, I'm always woefully underprepared for whatever I'm doing. Oh. Ah. Let me just sleep in the hallway here. A villager with diamond pickaxe. I do have emeralds now. That's a good idea. Did my best to curate a good trading hall. You did great. It's had everything I've needed. Okay. I hear death. Cool. Oh, hello, hello, hello. Please don't blow up, please don't blow up, please don't blow up. Oh, no. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. That's okay. We'll just fix that. It's a cave. It's natural. It's yeah, it's just natural. Natural cave stuff. Ta-da! Perfectly fine and normal. Nothing happened here. It's even more natural than it was before. Nice. I don't want to do too much, but I kind of do want to do too much. You know? You know? Oh! I almost fell. That's fine. It's fine. Ooh, let me do this to myself. Alright. Alright, I was like, ooh, pretty. Yeah. Let me just give myself a little staircase here. And then I'm gonna head up here. I'm gonna mark my location just to... I'm gonna... What's the screenshot button? Found it! God, why is that a flashbang? Hang on, no, I'm using the snipping tool. Oh no, it's gonna kick me out of the server because I changed the... God, that's right. I forgot that it does that. Okay, I'm gonna write it down like a normal person. I have my little notebook here. Technically, it's my D&D notebook, but that's fine. It can have Minecraft stuff in it. And I'll just write down... 416. Okay. Ooh. That's a nice little area. There's many stuffs over here. Is this the spawn jungle or is this a different jungle? I don't know. Okay, let's make our way back. I guess we could go through the cave too. That's probably easier. It's probably easier to go through the cave to get back. It's close to spawn. Yeah. It seems like sort of a midway point in between your house and spawn. So hopefully it's not too close to either of them. Because it could cause problems if that is the case. But we'll find out. The cave I cut out was meant to be a way to spawn for me. Ah. That makes sense. It's a good name. Still thinking of a good name. Okay. Back out. If we build the portal in the Nether, you should be fine. Yeah. I mean, there's a complicated process to it. To like making everything work. So, Skelly Farm was back there. Kind of a full inventory. Oh, I can do this. That frees up inventory space. There we go. Okay. Let's go get a pickaxe. Blackfoot is the master of the Nether. I don't pretend to know anything. Is this good? The colors are so warm. Yeah, it's the vibrant visuals. What is it? Who's the guy? Who's the guy? He's by the stonements. Oh, there he is. Oh, and I have enough emeralds. Ooh, and it's unbreaking. Yeah. Excellent. Alright. Alright. I think I should stop by home. Feel free to get another mending. It's probably a good idea. I'm gonna grab 2 more. One for my sword as well. And fortune. Oh, fortune's a good idea. Yeah. Probably need another book for that. Okay, I don't want to take all your books. More paper. Okay. Punch. You have Luck of the Sea, Aqua Affinity, Blast Protection, Feather Falling, Looting, Fortune. What? Oh, I don't have enough emeralds. And more books in the church basement. Okay. What was the one that... Alright. How do I get more... I mean, I could do coal if I... okay. Let me just do this real quick. Let me just do this real quick. I have a ton of coal. I can just it's not a platform. Okay. Whoop. Aw, oh, man, you spawn-proofed your whole thing. It's fine. Looks like cookies. You were so smart. You saying the coal looks like cookies? No iron golems getting out on my watch. Oh yeah, true, because it's the iron farm. Oh yeah, the iron farm. Okay, that's how I got emeralds before, was the iron. Okay. It's fine. I wanted those. Alright, I mean, gross. Takes. Where's the right chest? Is this one? Okay. Iron farms are really efficient. It's fine. Oh, dang it, they're asleep again. I'm always shopping at nighttime when the mall closes. Man, I keep showing up when the mall closes. Alright, which is the guy that takes iron? It's you. Oh, and there's other guys too. Yeah, these guys. Okay. Great. I think it was... Yeah, you that had Fortune 3. Yeah, like 6 of them. Okay, Fortune, and then we need, 2 mending. Hey, it's actually Blackwood! Rolling in gems, baby! You have Look of the Sea, Aqua Affinity. Where's the mending guy? You the mending guy? Where's the mending guy? I just saw him. I was just here. Unbreaking. Yeah. Okay. Smite. It's one of these guys. Silk Touch, Efficiency, Fire Protection, Impaling, Mending. Here it is. Ooh, 1 emerald. Okay. Alright. Yeah, Mending is the guy. There are 2 ID Zombify and they have different clothes. Ah, I see. Okay. So let's put... That's not how we do things. Mending. And this is not the Silk Touch one, so it's gonna be Fortune. And I'm gonna call it Lucky. Oh no, I broke it! Ah! It's a good thing you have so much iron. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize it was dying. Okay, I'll build you a new one. Out of your supplies. Okay. Anvil. It's fine. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Look, I fixed it. Okay. What else needed mending? Is my sword. Okay, now I'm all geared out. All geared up. There's so much iron for exactly that, yeah. Yeah. Alright. I gotta get some I gotta make some sticks. I don't need to trade for sticks. Oh. Found a secret door. It's not very secret. Those things always be exploding, yeah. Okay. I don't hate the locator bar. Wait, I'm going the wrong way. I just picked a direction and I started going. But I'm definitely going the wrong way. Ah, the door leads out to the ravine. The tunnel goes to the Skelly Farm. Cool, cool, cool. So I guess I could go that way. Because Skelly Farm's near... Got a spicy soup. Throat coat tea, water, Gatorade. Is this the right way? No. Wait, why am I so lost? Door? There we go. Here it is. I found it. Look into it, dude. Yeah, it's not fun. There'll be more liquid than person. Good, good, good. That's what you want to be when you're sick. You want to be more liquid than person. Okay, let me put this here and these here. Just so I have stuff away. Gooping all around. So many paths. Slipping through grates like toxic seahorse. Yeah. Alright. Cool. I need some wood. There's some trees around. Let me go grab a tree for some sticks so I can make some torches. So I can light up the cave. Music's a little bit loud. Okay. Minecraft music is either like so quiet you can't hear it or louder than the sun. And the sun is pretty loud. Apparently. I think I actually read that at one point, that the sun is loud. Let me look that up. Hang on. I have to confirm that I am correct on this and the sun is loud. Watch this, FBI agent who reads my... Is the sun loud? Yeah, the sun's loud. The sun is loud. It'd be about 80 decibels on Earth if space could carry sound. So, yeah. I read somewhere that if the sun's sound traveled to Earth, it would sound like the volume of a chainsaw everywhere on Earth 24/7, even with the distance. Yeah. It said, Reddit said 80 decibels here on Earth. I don't know what that means, but, you know. In case you do. Yeah, that would fucking suck. Can you imagine all of the autistic people having to deal with that shit? Not fucking happening. So yeah, the sun is loud. 80 decibels is enough to cause hearing loss? Oh my god. There we go. That should be enough sticks. Okay. The sun is hot, the sun is not a place where we should live. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, it's not that one. Into the cave. I'm a little nervous about this. I'm a little nervous because I am not a very good fighter when I get overwhelmed. And I don't want to lose any of my stuff. So we're gonna do our best. What I'm gonna do is what I think every unit is 10 times more than the last unit, so with normal speaking volume being at around roughly 60 decibels, 100 quintillion times louder. Wow. Wow. It's a little loud. I'm going to quickly set... I'm going to set my spawn here. Damn it! Alright. I don't want to be dealing with the outside monsters when I'm trying to deal with the inside monsters. I threw my sword! There it is. Oh, hello. Can you not, actually, sir? Yeah, I'll look for the eye. I'll be sure to do that. What's up? I love the little Enderman phrases. Don't think I don't see you there. Nice. Nice. Okay. Oh. Bro teleported right in front of me. What am I supposed to do about that? Nice. Parkour. Some spelunking. I gotta get good. if I'm gonna be the cave kingdom. Gotta get good. That was total luck. that was a guess. I fully guessed. Oh wait, there's already torches in here. I don't need to add torches. Can't tell what's lit up. Okay. Luckily, lush caves are pretty well lit up on their own. I was gonna put my stuff in a chest and then I didn't. It's fine. I set my spawn here. I think there might be a geode at the bottom of this cave. That's cool. Love a good geode. Oh no. Breaking the flora. No! I want to keep that. Okay. I'm gonna light this up like crazy. Hey. Bitch. I really, really, really wish I could put torches in my offhand. Yeah, really, really wish I could put torches in my offhand. Mojang. You know, like in Java. Like in Java edition. Put torches in your offhand. Please. Pretty please. Okay then. That's fine. At least you can swing your sword as fast as you want. Yeah. guess I must have placed a torch on gravel? It's fine. Everything is okay. Okay. Alright then. Let's, is this... Oh god, why did I do this to myself? Okay, I was... Where? Up there. Alright then. Okay. It's fine. Everything is fine. Sorry, dude. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm not getting chased by a million zombies and several creepers. There's not a skeleton there. It's fine. Everything's fine. I forgot I could climb vines. That's cool. Alright. The light will help. Hey. Can't have that. Alright. Okay. I'm gonna have to be real strategic about like where I put buildings and stuff so that everything stays lit up. Oh god. Oh, I'm so good at this. I'm so good at this. Oh my god. No, 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 no. No. Go away. Go away. Go away. Shroom lights are a great idea. How do I get out? I don't know where I am anymore. This cave cave is huge. Harassment in the form of currency. It's okay, Kench has an iron farm. Diamonds. We'll see if I find any. Oh boy. Alright. This is quite the pickle. Okay. I gotta figure out how to get out of here. Meh. Meh. There's a ton of iron down here. That's nice. I don't see any of my torches anywhere. Maybe I'm going the wrong direction. This is why you don't panic, cave. Torches. Okay, there's torches over here. That's a good sign. Happy guest. Wander around in creative. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be doing some planning in creative. Even if you name tag them, things shouldn't despawn if you name tag them. Several of Kench's villagers have name tags. So They should be pretty easy to get. Even with name tags and leads? Yeah, it must be a bug. We may wanna wait to start our Happy Ghast collections. My son! Yeah, bug rock. Figure out where I am right now. Hypothetical son. I've not made a Happy Ghast yet. Yeah. It's those hypothetical sons that'll get you. Okay, there's more torches. Dried ghasts are items. That's true. So you can leave them dry. I wonder if... Can you name tag a dried ghast? I need dry boys for my eventual cemetery. Oh. Oh no, Luke! Rest in peace. Hope you can get your stuff back. I'm so lost. I'm going around in circles. I think I managed to get away from the lava all as well. I hope your stuff is okay. I see you. Okay, negative 290, 70. Yeah, I thought I needed to go negative, but... Oh, good. Glad your stuff is okay. Okay. Thank you. $397. Kind of go this way. think I almost fell there. It's fine. Negative. Okay, I think I'm on the right track now. Now that I'm not going around in circles anymore. I wanted to light up one area, and then I got chased into another area. Oh god. Alright, it's fine. Just need to watch where I'm going. Okay. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm almost there, I think. Because there's so many torches here. This gotta be... Wait, did I miss a diamond? Where? It was probably lichen. Yeah, I think it was lichen. Because I don't see anything diamond-like. Just a lichen. The lichen gets me all the time, though. I'm like, oh, diamond! It's like, no diamond. No diamond. Ken's just been here. Can't go this way. I might be close to the scaly spawner. I don't know. Okay. You know where I am! Yay! That makes one of us! Okay. I'm gonna keep trying to get to those coordinates, though, because... there's a little hole here. Maybe... Is the skelly spawner down where the... Because if I can get to the skelly spawner, I can get back. Oh, hello. Hey. Got the makings of a good slime spawner here. Slime farm. For monsters there. Because I saw, where was it? There was like a little... there's a little... This here. Is this where the skelly spawner is? And this way? There's definitely something this way. Might as well get more lost, right? I think that's a zombie spawner. Which connects. Okay. Try to keep an ear out for zombies. Ooh! Nice. Amethyst farm. Oh, I was like, why can't I run? Maybe because you're starving. Yeah. Okay, out there. Go this direction, maybe. Yeah. I heard skeletons. Oh. Oh. Yatta! I know where I am now! Yay! Hooray! I have escaped! Okay. Now... this way? I think this is back up. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going the right way. I'm going the right way. Okay. Yay! I did it! I successfully didn't die! I lose all of my new enchanted gear. That would have sucked. Okay. We're back. We're back. And my staircase is here. Alright. Let's see how we're doing down here. Okay, I didn't do too bad of a job. Oh no. What cough drops do you have? Hall's cherry. Oh, I hate cherry. I hate cherry stuff. Cherry medicine stuff, specifically. Like, there's some good cherry flavors, but anything that's like cherry medicine... Blit. When I was a kid, and probably now still, I haven't tried. Oh, every other flavor, yeah. When I was a kid, my parents kept trying to make me take liquid medicine when I was sick, like NyQuil or whatever. And it wouldn't work because I would immediately throw it back up. And now anytime I taste that like cherry medicine flavor, I just ugh. It's not good. If you took red vines and straight threw them into sink cleaner. Oh no. That sucks. Cool. Oh no, Luke! No! The death. Alright. I fear this may become a regular occurrence. Oh no! That's too bad. I don't know why I'm clearing this out, I just am. Maybe. Hello, friend! Hi! You wanna come hang out? Are axolotls okay outside of water, or do I need to get them back in the water? Hello? They need water? Oh no! I have iron, I don't have a crafting table. Are you gonna can you follow? Oh no! Where did they come from? They're gonna die. They're really cute, and it's the blue and pink one. Okay. How do I get them some water? What do I do? I need water. Watch them despawn as soon as I get out of here. I would rather them despawn than if they died. I'm gonna make a lake. We're gonna make a lake. We're gonna make a lake in that spot that I just cleared out. That's gonna be a lake, and it's gonna be for the axolotls. Oh god, it's nighttime. No. Ah. Let me sleep. Okay. Go away, skeleton. I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission for axolotls. Okay. I have iron in my inventory. I just need... I need a crafting table. Need a crafting table. I need to make as many buckets as I can. Okay, and then these are not gonna stack, so useless stuff out of my inventory. We're on a mission! We're on a mission for the axolotls! I really hope they're not dying. Oh, there's a crafting table here the entire time. No, my bucket! Okay. Probably shouldn't have thrown out my sticks, but it's fine. Okay, okay. Come on. Climb! Climb faster! Climb faster! Okay. Let's fucker go! Run! For the axolotls! Please tell me they're still okay down here. I don't see them. I don't see them. No. I hope they just despawned. Do axolotls drop anything when they die? 'Cause I don't see them. No. I'm so sad. I think they died. Or despawned. Probably despawned. Hopefully I'm gonna choose to believe that they found a little spot of water to be in. I'm still gonna put a little lake here, I think. Second level? I need a infinite water source is what I need. Can you still do infinite water sources? Is that still a thing? Okay, yeah, it seems like it. Okay. Infinite water source. Yeah. Okay. I still gotta keep my torches. We're gonna build a little underground water area for the axolotls. I don't know why these empty buckets don't stack automatically. It's very annoying. Okay. I know water buckets don't stack, but it's fine. Alright. But if I have empty buckets in my inventory, why don't they just stack? What? Axolotl sanctuary right here. we're gonna decorate it with like drip leaf and stuff. They might even spawn here. Alright. I don't need my digging stuff right now, so we'll just put all of the buckets. There we go. Okay. Gonna need that to go away. There we go. Now I can start collecting from the lake itself. Can't see anything. Oh, right. Okay. If I want to fill it up too high. Maybe if I fill it up like one high, it'll do it? Because the water will like flow. Yeah. Okay, it's working. Yeah, I think I did it. Okay. Yes. This is good. And then we'll decorate it with like drip leaf and stuff. There's a way to stack those quickly. I don't remember how to do it though. Okay. We'll do some decoration around here. And I gotta go get some drip leaf. Yeah. I'll go get some drip leaf. Definitely. And then I think I actually want to put I think I actually want to put sorry, I'm just like, there's this like one spot. I think I got it. I think I want to put my my portal here. I think that'd be cool. So if I have it, where's like the center of this? An axolotl spawned. Two of them. There's a baby. Okay, they're 3 wide, right? So if I put it like here. It's working! There's already axolotls here. Okay, so I think that's where I want my portal to be. It is at right in the middle here is negative 188, 8, 417. Look, oh my god, I can't believe it worked so fast. I was like, I want axolotls, and now there's axolotls. Oh my god, look at the baby. This is my son. Oh, if I had a name tag on me right now, I'd name him Sun. The first axolotl. Oh no! Oh no, not glow squid! I forgot about glow squid. It's okay, the axolotls will deal with the glow squid. It's just a snack. It's just a snack for my babies. Whoop. Now I have a tree accidentally. Whoops. Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. I should have more moss inside here, because I think the drip leaf only grows on moss. Well, I guess one of my exports will be glow squid, because I anticipate finding a lot here. That's fine. Oh, I think the yellow one despawned. Oh no, there it is. Hello! I need someone to bring me a name tag. I need to name this axolotl Sunny. I don't want him to despawn. I probably will. I probably won't get to name this one. All right. Lucky. It's okay. Get these oak planks. Can I? Need a crafting table. And make some slabs so that I can have like a little bridges here. Yeah. There's carpet there. There we go. And I can make that fancier later. But now we have like, I don't know, it's kind of cute. Where was my water source here? There we go. That's cute. I might make this deeper at some point. So that the axolotls have more space. I think I want stone. Oh, is that all of the stone I have? Oh, I guess I need to collect more stone. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. For now, hey! Where? Oh, there you are. Bitch. Where did you spawn from? Oh, like here, probably. Hmm. Sunny says no glow squid. Sunny says glow squid are tasty. Oh, Sunny. I can take Sunny with me. I can scoop up Sunny. And Sunny can come with me. I don't think I care if this little brown one despawns as much. But now I can go get it. I can get a name tag. Bucket of adult gold axolotl. But now I can get a name tag for Sunny. And yeah, we can do that now. We still have time. We can get a name tag and how many emeralds do I have still? I don't know. I put them away. Put my emeralds away. Let me make a I'll just chop down this. It's kind of cute, but it's fine. I was on the fence about this, anyways. Gotta find all of the wood spots. Okay, I think I got it. Okay. And my crafting table is in my inventory. Put the crafting table here. Get a double chest to start. Just having things put away. Okay, that feels better. Now that my inventory is not quite so cluttered. Now let's go name Sunny. Because if I name the axolotl, it won't despawn, right? Yeah. My very first axolotl. Let's go! long hallway. It'll be easier if I can get a portal. Because then I can travel a little easier being underground. Wait, did I go the right way? No. Yeah, there's only one way. The bean way is the only way. That only makes sense if you grew up with Pajama Sam. People are like, what, Jack, what the fuck? What the fuck are you talking about? Okay, this way. It's not even from the ones that I played as a kid. It's from the one that I discovered as an adult. It's from You Are What You Eat. Okay, I do have some. It's fine. Oh. I was like, wait, why am I short? Well, genetics. That's why. Okay. Yeah, Kenj, this is epic. Okay, who was it that had a name tag? You, I need 20 emeralds. Okay, okay. I'm just gonna borrow some iron. Sorry. I'll pay you back one day, Kenj, I promise. Okay. I know it's an iron farm and it literally makes like a bajillion iron, but I still feel kind of bad. You can't give me diamonds. No, not pilfering. Kenj said it was okay. I promise. Dang it, I still need more. I feel bad. It's fine. Ken's just been reassuring me literally the entire stream that it's okay. And I still feel bad. Okay. I'll put it back. I'll put back whatever I don't use. But I need to name this axolotl or else it's gonna despawn. It'll make me so sad. Okay. I'll put back the rest. I'll put back the rest. It was the librarians. Thank you. Okay. There you go. Hit that. Sunny! Alright, let's go put Sunny in their home. I can find my way out again. Door. There we go. Those bubble elevators are so cool. All right. Let's go. As far as I'm concerned, Kenj can have whatever of mine they want. Kenj can just come in and pilfer stuff from my chest. I honestly, like, it's totally cool. Just like leave a little note, just like, hey, I saw your thing, I wanted it, Kenj. And I'll be like, okay. I what's mine is yours, Kenjamin. My brain just keeps going, the bean way is the only way. I had this little gnome character last my D&D session last night, and he kind of talked like this, kind of talked like the bean. And he was kind of sad, cause his coworkers kept bullying him, and they used their sick days to go on vacation, and now he's the only one left to do the paperwork. One time he told the boss that they were using their vacation, their sick days for vacation, and they hung him up by his underwear on a branch. He doesn't even have a name. Nobody ever asked his name. He's just the gnome running the check-in. Come here, Sunny. Sunny. Yay! That makes me so happy. Hi, Sunny. Yeah! Alright, so my portal's gonna be here. Eventually, whenever that can happen. And, we are just about at time, and I don't have any other plans for today. I'm gonna figure out in creative, I think, what I want to do for my base. Maybe I'll do like a little hobbit hole like here. That'd be kind of cute. Or like somewhere around here, some kind of little hobbit hole thing. But I also need to build a better way in and out of here, so I can get to the surface a little faster. Maybe a bubble elevator, I don't know. But yeah, this was such a fun stream. And I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out as well. And I'll probably play more on Thursday, because I doubt we're going to be playing Baldur's Gate. Hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers that hopefully we'll only have to do a couple Thursdays without Baldur's Gate, but yeah. I'm fucking sleeping on Thursday. That's fair. Fair and valid. And I hope you guys feel better soon. I'm sorry. We tried so hard to stay away from everyone. I literally don't know how you guys got it. But yeah. So, thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me. I will be back tomorrow with another stream. Oh yeah, you can see my little skin here. I changed it up. And I will see you guys on Thursday, tomorrow, for probably more Minecraft. Yatta! Bye bye.